Hey everybody, it's PartyElite, and today we're taking a look at the newly revealed Vilitch footage from Total War Warhammer 3. We'll take a quick look at the reveal trailer that released just yesterday first, and then we'll dive into the juiciest parts of the Let's Play footage that leaked earlier today and then was later released. Now, on the topic of it having leaked, I just want you to know that this video on my channel exists largely in part due to the response I got in the comments of my previous video about Festus, so thank you very much for that. Truly, I appreciate it greatly because it helped me make a quick decision here today with regards to what to do despite the leak having happened. So again, thank you so very much for sharing your opinion. And with that said, if you like Total War coverage on the channel and would like to see more, don't hesitate to hit the like button down below and leave a comment here too. Now with that said, and with timestamps down below, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive on in to the Vilitch people. I was a little disappointed in the Vilitch reveal trailer, I'll be completely honest, and it's not just because I'm a huge Tzeentch fan and I'm always expecting more for him. They just seem to be getting worse and worse, these trailers for the Champions of Chaos. Like, sure we got to see another Chaos War Shrine variant, and sure we got to see a bunch of different units, but we already kind of know how they're going to look, let's be real. And then on top of that, the narrative, the camera work, the editing, it's really just kind of weak, especially again if we compare it to some of the masterpieces like the trailer for Bretonnia, Vampire Coast, the Skaven. I mean, there were some fantastic trailers for Warhammer 1 and 2 DLC, so I'm just a little curious as to what's going on behind the scenes here. We're talking about the Champions of Chaos, and the best they could come up with was a random forest ambush between two Chaos factions? Anyway, my opinion on the storytelling chops over at Creative Assembly are not our main concern today, as much as I do hope it gets better because it's really a big part of the hype train and getting excited for new content, for me at least. And if you guys feel differently, let me know in the comments. You know, I could be way off base, it's just one man's opinion, and I'm always open to hearing other people's opinions. Anyway, like I said, that is not the main concern today. The main concern today is a part of the Let's Play footage that we've only just seen in writing until literally earlier today, and it has to do with Daemonhood and the Path to Glory. Now this is looking really cool, and we see it just a bit over halfway through the Let's Play video that dropped today. The first half of the video is interesting enough, it's got a battle, it's got the trailer from yesterday embedded into it, but this is where things get really juicy. The first order of business are the Boons of Chaos, unlocked by performing specific tasks, and if you know me, if you're familiar with this channel, you know I love that kind of stuff. You can see here that there are 2 that have been unlocked for this Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows, and a third that can still be unlocked by winning a battle against Tzeentch. Something like immune to psychology or an increase to barrier hit points by 200 or so isn't insignificant, and as you can see, each Lord and Hero has their own set of 3 to try and unlock. Some of them are quite powerful, including access to spells, reduced vigor loss, and hopefully there are a significant number of alternatives. My only concern here is that there'll just be a list of, 10 or 15 that cycle between the Lords and Heroes, but hopefully it's more like a set of 30 or 50, so there's a huge number of combinations and permutations and a variety to come across. After that, though, we focus on the Marks of Chaos. These are the result of spending souls, and after paying up, you'll end up with a character who is at half their previous rank with all skills reset for you to pick again. It'll also reset their Boons of Chaos, and in the case of Tzeentch specifically, you can see a barrier gets added as the character becomes just a touch more demonic. And eventually, from the sounds of it, if you keep leveling up a marked character, that character will be able to ascend to full-on Demon Princehood. You can choose to dedicate the character to Chaos Undivided or, presumably, your own patron god. So my earlier thoughts from a few videos ago about maybe having a mashup in your army can most likely be set aside unless this was just some extra clever editing, which I highly doubt. It looks like if you're playing as Tzeentch, you get to dedicate to Tzeentch. If you're playing as Nurgle, you get to dedicate to Nurgle, or of course Chaos Undivided, so on and so forth. Either way, becoming a demon will once again have the rank and reset all the skill points all over again, though the Summoning Rite and Unholy Intervention technologies will help counter some of those losses, at least for Tzeentch. I'm not sure how the tech trees look for the other champions of Chaos. This is honestly really cool. I'm just straight up, this is just cool. The visual transformation is really neat, and obviously this unlocks a slew of new abilities for the character as they've transformed into a completely different type of lord entirely. My hope is that we'll see interesting combinations of body parts to make each Demon Prince unique rather than have all the ascended Demon Princes look the same for each individual god. Like, this is clearly Tzeentch themed, and I imagine there's one that's clearly themed for each of the gods and then one for Undivided, but what I'm hoping for is sort of variant combinations within each theme. We already saw that they've taken it really above and beyond with a Demon Prince faction in the base game, mixing and matching parts, so I imagine they can use the same artistry and magic to randomly mash up the right parts to make sure that the Demon Princes are still fitting to the god they're dedicated to, but look different from each other, and maybe even have different abilities? That would be extra cool in my opinion, but maybe that's pushing my luck a little hard. Either way, I would love to see more of this kind of mechanic going forward for other factions and DLC too, and honestly, for other games as well beyond the Total War Warhammer series. The upgrading units into different kinds of units that we saw with the Festus and Azazel videos, and of course, those faction mechanics are available for all these Champions of Chaos factions, but those unit upgrades that we saw, and then coupled with the upgrading of heroes and lords that we're seeing today, is just absolutely massive. They go from one unit type to a completely different unit type, or from one lord type to a completely different lord type. I think it's just a cool way to hold on to characters that you like and to see them actually grow over time. Thematically, it works perfectly for Chaos, of course, because of this idea of ascension into Demon Princehood, but I think Creative Assembly could really come up with ways to make it work for other factions as well. Of course, this is unique to the Chaos factions, but it wouldn't be unusual to see commanders become more powerful versions of themselves as they get more and more experience and perform better and better on the battlefield, right? And I'm not just talking about skill point expense, I'm talking about this scale of upgrade where it's just a whole new set of skills and everything. Again, yes, it would work a little differently for individual factions, but I really think they're onto something with this, and I would love to see it expanded on. There isn't much else new to see in the video today, to be honest. We see some new unit skins, we see some new stats to go with them, but those are always up for changing, so we'll discuss those closer to release when they're more likely to be final and, locked in place. Today, I primarily, again, wanted to highlight the whole process of making your generals become more powerful and turning them into demon princes, and just how cool I really think that is. I do think it's really juicy, and we only just got to see it in action today. Now, yesterday's blog post did reveal some additional details about Vilitch and his faction. Naturally, we're seeing Tzeentch's faction mechanics get carried over, including some modifications like to the changing of the ways. But the 2-for-1 deal that is Vilitch means we'll actually be seeing a lord who's capable in both melee as well as a spellcaster. And we see through the use of the Twisted Twin passive ability sort of a combination buffing, where by being involved in combat and by casting spells, they become better spellcasters and better melee combatants as well. This all sounds pretty slick, and it sounds like you'll want to throw Vilitch into fight, pull him back maybe to, cast a couple spells and push him back into fight and keep that passive going, because I assume it sort of is a temporary buff that comes back as you engage in the, again, spell casting and the melee. Either way, we'll see how it all works soon enough, I'm sure. We also see how Vilitch is able to acquire more souls post-battle by converting some of his own losses into souls, which should give him a healthy leg up, especially if he's feeling particularly sacrificial. And we also see how he gains XP every time the lords under him gain XP, and finally, we see that his army is able to teleport a bit more cheaply. I'm thinking of doing a Champions of Chaos Let's Play on the channel when I can, and so far, I think Azazel actually seems the most interesting and appealing to me. I'm not set in stone just quite yet, and there is also one more lord to be revealed, so I might still change my mind. But is there anyone in particular you'd like to see on the channel? Let me know. Is there any lord that's calling to you for your own playthrough specifically? As always, I'm curious to see how folks are feeling about the upcoming DLC. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to hit the like button and leave a comment down below. As always, it makes a massive difference, and naturally, if you're not yet subscribed and you want more strategy gaming content in your life, you might want to subscribe here. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly, and of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.